What's up guys, my name is DeadVerse and we're going to be using the Sokol 545 LMG in BO7 Zombies. The Sokol 545 has a precision mode which allows for a slower fire rate, however higher damage, better recoil control, and range. The Sokol 545 also has a faster fire rate with lower damage per bullet, higher recoil, and a strong in close quarter engagements. What makes this weapon special is that it has two fire modes, the first one being the precision mode, which is best at boss and elite enemies and some zombie types. Whereas the second one, the rapid mode, is great whenever you're training a bunch of zombies and killing them pretty quickly. And with the great magazine size, this is no problem. Time to capture his ward, and let's use our first mode. And so far as you can see, with that higher damage, it's actually able to deal massive headshot damage. And then from here, what we're going to do, of course, is just kill the rest of the zombies, and we have captured it successfully. Time to get some armor, and let's kill these zombies. And one thing I will say is that you want to avoid getting in his corner. As you can see, I almost got killed right here, but the good thing is I have my field upgrade, which is going to freeze them, and then just get them in place. Now let me just get these ones over here, and man, like I said, this weapon's pretty crazy. I just feel like it's actually pretty solid. Time to capture the ward, and one thing I will say is that having the rapid fire mode is going to be pretty interesting. I mean, for one, we do have double tap, so it's going to shoot pretty crazy later on, and I could just imagine how much damage it's going to do against these zombies. I mean, it doesn't do as much, but I will say having the instant rapid fire, it actually does make a difference in this case. Usually I don't get Juggernog this early, but let's just get it right now, just because of course we're going to deal with the Oni later on, and I don't want to get killed from him, because there have been times where I get down and I'm like, man, that kind of sucks. I wish I had Juggernog with me. But in this case, of course, we have it, so it's going to be much easier. Now let me just get these ones in front of us, and like I said, depending on the mode, it can make a difference. Of course, who can't forget Elemental Pop? I mean, this perk really does help, because of course, having random elemental ammo mods can really help killing the Oni, and of course, just the zombies that are right here. Let me just get around and reload this weapon. Let me throw this decoy. Man, these decoys are pretty helpful. You know, I remember in the beginning of the game's life cycle, the decoys weren't really as good. However, over time, they got much more better, especially with Mule Kick. Now that the Oni has spawned in and we have insta-kill, let's just deal with them. And luckily, Shadow Rift is actually his main weakness, which is what I wanted. And we killed him pretty quickly. Man, that was actually pretty easy. Not really that hard compared to other times. Now, of course, what we're going to do is place the piece in the dragon's mouth, just kill the zombies right here, and just wait for the door to open, and then we can proceed to get Pack-A-Punch. For these zombies right here, as long as you have rapid fire mode on, it's pretty easy. I mean, for one, just having them trained up, it just makes it so you can kill them pretty quickly and you don't have to deal with anything else. Time for the first Pack-A-Punch, and in this case, we're actually going to use the precision mode, so we're going to shoot a little bit slower. However, in this case, as you can see, it does massive headshot damage. Of course, later on, I'm going to show you guys the rapid fire mode. However, it's pretty solid so far. How does it do in the Zoid? Well, so far, it seems to be pretty promising. I will say I do have dead wire on, so it's going to make it easier because I could just freeze the zombies in place. Now let me just activate the trap, and then from here, let me just shoot the zombies in the head. Now there are a decent amount of them from both sides. However, I like to focus on the right side because they usually spawn there more often. Let me just get this dog and the scorched zombie. I will say one thing that I do like about the scorched zombies is that they actually don't explode in front of you, which is pretty cool. I just feel like if they did, it would be quite annoying. However, in this case, they don't. I'm pretty sure the only thing they do is like do more damage against you. And of course, I'm pretty sure they have a little bit more health. However, in this case, we're just going to get rid of them. And then from here, we're going to get our max ammo. Look at that. It's pretty good. Not that bad. Let's try out the rapid fire mode as we get stamina. And so far, the rapid fire mode, I mean, it seems to be pretty promising. The fact that we have so many zombies, I feel like, is where it does really well. One thing I will say, though, is we need to see how it does against the Oni. Because, of course, he does have massive health. So let me just shoot him at the head. And okay, it does take a while, however it does knock him down pretty easily. Let's go. Time to get zombie kills while standing, and let's use the rapid fire mode, and so far it's able to dump so much bullets into them, and I just feel like in a group like this it's pretty successful. Let's try that again and see how it goes, and so far we're able to get our highest rarity pretty quickly, and then from here of course I need to back up just so that the zombies don't kill me. And now let's just check out the chest. Come on chest, give me something pretty good. And now look at that, Whiz T, pretty nice. Of course, with any light machine gun, one of the best perks you can use is speed coil up. I mean, come on, you want to reload this weapon as quickly as possible, and light machine guns do struggle at that. Now, of course, you do have fast mag attachments, but it's like, the thing is that light machine gun should have a lot of ammo. In this case, we have 323 rounds. I mean, that's pretty massive. And I feel like regardless of the fire modes, it's going to be pretty helpful, especially the fact that we're able to deal much more damage. How about we get some quick revive? I mean, it has been a while. Usually I don't get quick revive the first time. However, other times it's like, you know what, I should get quick revive. Because sometimes I just want to have much more health regeneration and just make it so I can survive in these higher rounds. Because man, these zombies and especially the variants get tough. How about Mule Kick? How much ammo do we get? Ooh, okay, we get like 200 more rounds, I believe, and that's a lot. 1,000 rounds? That's insane. I mean, that's like literally one of the best magazine capacities in the game. I just feel like having so much ammo, it's like, dang, this weapon doesn't run out of ammo pretty easily. And I just feel like, damn, that's actually really good in higher rounds. Time to get some kills on top of the roof with precision mode. Of course, it does shoot slower, however, because it does so much damage, we're able to kill the zombies pretty quickly and much easier than before. Let's just come to this side and of course shoot the zombies as quickly as possible. And then we have so many right here, it's pretty crazy, but we're able to get our highest rarity. Let's open up the chest, and so far we got some Casimirs and a melee Macchiato. Okay, not that bad. Let me show you guys Pack-A-Punch 2 with the rapid fire mode on. And in this case, as you guys can see for yourself, man, it's just killing it pretty easily. And now that we have insta kill, I mean, it's even faster than before. All these power-ups, man, I'm just glad that we get so many of them. Now, of course, we still gotta keep in mind that, you know, you just gotta keep on moving on and just making sure that, of course, you don't get caught up in those corners as usual. How does the rapid fire mode do against the assault wave rounds? Well, let's see. So far, I mean, it's able to hold the zombies and, of course, the dogs and the other scorched zombies back. One thing I will say though is, of course, I do gotta keep on my distance just because the Nyxara dragon does breathe dragon fire. Now, it doesn't do as much damage, but it just knocks you back and it just makes it super difficult to, of course, stay on your feet. Now, of course, what we're going to do is just make sure these zombies don't get to these statues. Now, one thing for sure is that it is a little bit tricky. What I mean by that is that sometimes the zombies just come out of nowhere. It's like on one hand, it's like you're looking in one direction and all of a sudden there are a bunch of them. And another times it's like, oh, they just show up randomly. Now let's see how Deadshot does with this weapon, because of course that is the main properties of the precision mode. And so far we're actually doing pretty decent. Now, of course, I am in this corner. Now I was thinking about throwing that Casimir, but I was like, you know what? Let me just keep on moving and hopefully we don't get killed. And man, that was quite tough, but luckily for us, it's not really a struggle. Now, of course, we do get our power-ups, like double points. I mean, I need some more points, man. Thank you. It can get tricky sometimes, because now, of course, we got bonus points, but sometimes it's like, okay, I want to get over here, and then other times I want to be over here, and sometimes I just struggle with that. But fortunately for us, I mean, with this weapon, literally, it's no problem. Let's get elevation kills with the rapid fire mode on, and so far, we're able to get pretty decent amount of kills right here, and especially the fact we're able to get the purple rarity. I mean, that's actually pretty solid. Now, we're going to do is, of course, eliminate the zombies and the Oni that's right in front of us, and look at that. We're able to get our highest rarity. Let's see what we get. We got our chest right here. Let's open it up, and we got an ether tool and PhD flopper. Okay, pretty good. The next zombies map that's coming to this game is called the Rennen Furnace, which actually stands for King of Hell or King of the Underworld from Aladdin. One thing I will say though is that this map actually takes place in the Warden's lair, so basically where the Warden lives in. And I will say for one thing is that the Warden honestly is actually a pretty terrifying villain. I mean, he's like this southern western cowboy that thinks that he's all that. And I just feel like it's just crazy to think that now we're facing him in the final map. And so far this map's actually been pretty good, and I actually like that so far. Time to get some critical kills against these zombies, and the good thing is that with this weapon, having the precision mode, although it does shoot slower, it does massive amount of headshot and neck damage. And pairing that with Deadshot, I mean, that's a pretty deadly combination. And so far we were able to get blue rarity. Let me go over here. One thing I will say about getting critical kills is that it's quite tough sometimes, because of course depending on the surfaces you're on, either if it's like platforms or rocks, they can be pretty uneven, and I just feel like that just makes it much more tougher than usual. However, if you keep on aiming in and out of sights, I feel like it just becomes much easier. Let's check out the chest, and so far we actually got 2 perks. Okay, pretty nice deal. Let's see how double tap does with this weapon, and as you can see with the precision mode, I mean, that's pretty insane. I mean, so far we're able to deal significantly more shots, and I just feel like overall it's like, yeah, at first double tap wasn't a necessity, however now it's like, okay, it's actually pretty viable, and especially with this weapon. Oh, I forgot to get that. I thought I got that earlier. How about the rapid fire mode? How's that going to deal with double tap? And as you can see, it shoots super fast. It's like SMG levels. I mean, that's pretty insane. Now, of course, we still have Frost Blast, and that helps a lot, especially on this map. I mean, it contrasts with the fire, so I feel like it's perfect. Now, speaking about Rennen Furnace, one thing I would like to suggest is hopefully the wonder weapons involve the 4 Shadow Smiths. We have Aetherion, you have Caltheris, you have Nyxara, and of course Dravakart. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if you can upgrade each one of the weapons so that you can use 4 of those Shadow Smiths? I mean, it would be pretty similar to the other maps, and I feel like that would be so awesome. I remember back in Reckoning when we had Panos and Blanchard, which were 2 major characters in that storyline, and basically what happened was that either if you did one of the quests, you would be able to use their essence so that you can power the wonder weapon, which was called the Gorgorfex. I mean, wouldn't that be cool if you can do that with the Shadow Smiths? Like, get of their essence and make it so you can use that wonder weapon with them? This would make it so that the Shadow Smiths had more of a purpose. Now, of course, they do help with our main characters get the souls back, but at the same time, it's like, what if they were involved in the main wonder weapon quest? I mean, that would be sick. That would just make it so much easier for us to use, just so that we could beat the Warden, because man, he does seem not that tough, but at the same time it's like, nah, this Warden is pretty powerful, we should watch out for him. What's cool about Rennen Furnace is that this map, they've actually shown a teaser for it, which has the yellow house from Revelations. And what's interesting is that this house also appears at the exfil, which is at the end of course of every single match that we have been doing based on these weapon reviews. And so far it's like pretty interesting that we're building up to that. It's like, how significant is this house going to be? Is the house going to be the starter room on Rex and Furnace? Are we going to initiate the boss fight there? Is it going to be something where it's like, okay, we complete major Easter egg steps? I wonder. I mean, I feel like the house is pretty significant because of course it was really important in Black Ops 3, and it's like in this game it is definitely going to be something where it's like we need to look into. Now of course Treyarch isn't going to reveal much, but I'm pretty sure later on it's like, oh, now we fully understand what this house is for. And I just feel like it's pretty cool nonetheless that we finally get to see its full true potential. Time to get Pack-A-Punch 3 and let's see how we do against the zombies. And man, I just love the fact that it has 2 different modes. I mean, that's actually pretty cool for a light machine gun. I feel like that's what makes it unique and special. And in this case, I mean, you guys can see it's actually killing the zombies really well, especially the Oni had like no chance right there. Now of course we just gotta deal with the rest of them, but man, it is getting quite hectic. So of course let's use our Frost Blast and then of course deal with the Oni. And man, I would just say this weapon is actually very nice, and I just feel like for boss fights, maybe we should try this out. Maybe it's good. For Rex and Furnace, there will be 2 legacy weapons coming to this map. The first one being the Olympia shotgun. I mean, it's a pretty iconic shotgun from past Call of Duty games. And of course the Foul Marksman rifle, or an assault rifle, it just depends. However, in this case, it's like pretty cool because of course having these 2 iconic weapons coming back, it's like really nice, and I feel like a lot of us are going to enjoy it, especially the iconic classic fans of Call of Duty, because I kind of wish that these weapons weren't just map exclusive. Could you imagine if the PPSH was available on Ashes of the Dam, or for Paradox Junction you can use the FAL? It's like, that would be amazing. It just sucks that it's only tied to one map, and I feel like at the same time it does make the map more unique and special, but it's like, it's good to have more variety. And in this case it's like, maybe in the future Treyarch will change their minds, but who knows. Now of course what we're doing right now is we're just camping right here, and I just feel like so far we're actually doing pretty great. Now of course the ammo's about to run out, so we do need to reload. And like I said, having more map exclusive weapons is great. I mean, we do have season 6 coming up later on, and maybe they'll be adding more weapons to the game, and at the same time it's like something more to explore with, especially in this game. In season 5 we're also going to get a new Gobblegum that will fully Pack-A-Punch your weapon to tier 3. I mean, that does sound crazy on paper, and it really is. Think about it this way, if you're doing a starter room challenge as we've done in several videos, I feel like now it's like having this Gobblegum is going to make it so much easier. I mean, of course we have Perkaholic and Crate Power and Hidden Power, which really help, but I feel like this Gobblegum is just going to make it so that now my weapons can deal massive damage as before. Because of course the only map so far that has Pack-A-Punch is Ashes to the Dam, and these other maps don't even have that. And with this Gobblegum, it's going to make it much easier for us to survive. And it's just so helpful because some people might say, oh, I don't like Gobblegums, but in this case it's like, why not use them? They're pretty good nonetheless. The last and most important item coming to Black Ops 7 Zombies in season 5 is Widow's Wine. Now of course we know that Widow's Wine was in the files for a while, but it's like great to see this perk coming back. And honestly it's pretty cool because I always wondered, will Treyarch ever bring this perk back? I mean, it kind of felt like PhD Flopper when like that perk wasn't here for a while, but finally having Widow's Wine, it's just going to be really nice to see. Just because I'm curious to see what type of stuff will this perk have. What are the major and minor augments? I mean, I'm pretty sure the base ability will be like, if the zombies hit you, the spider web gets pulled out. But what about like, oh, my lethals and tacticals? I mean, does it really matter which type? I'm not sure. Is it going to be doing more damage? I mean, there are a lot of possibilities. Time to get higher elevation kills, and as you can see with the rapid fire mode and also double tap, we're able to deal massive damage per second, and so far we're able to get a purple rarity, which is pretty good so far. Now with insta kill we're going to finish these zombies off, and we got our highest tier. Let's go check it out. We have the box right here, and as we can see we actually got a pretty nice stuff. We got an ether tool and also a free perk. I almost died right there, but the good thing is that of course I have my perks, and what I'm going to do is use Frost Blast and just kill these zombies. And man, it's getting pretty hectic here, but of course you just keep on sliding. This game is wild. I feel like at one point it's like, oh yeah, I'm doing really well, and at other times it's like, man, I'm really struggling. And I just feel like in this case it's like kind of like in the middle. Like I have everything, but at the same time I feel like I'm missing something. In this case it's like, oh yeah, I have my field upgrade. I mean, I've saved that for a while just because I don't want to just use it like crazy, because then what if I do get stuck? What if I do get killed like right here? And I feel like sometimes it's always good to have backup, because of course you always have the uncertainty. That's why the Gobblegums, usually I have them for show. Sometimes I like to use them, but other times it's like I don't use them because I think I could do better without them, but sometimes I need them. Now that we have the assault waves, let's see how this weapon really does. I mean, it is its highest tier Pack-A-Punch and of course rarity level, and then we can see so far we're doing pretty good. We're just shooting the zombies right in front of us, and of course just shooting the other ones. And man, this is quite tricky because I feel like the ghosts, they do well at killing the zombies, but it's like sometimes the zombies just spawn out of nowhere. It's getting crazy. And I feel like the Nexar Dragon is like kind of scary as well. And now one thing I will say is that unfortunately the statue's health is pretty low, so let's just keep that in mind. And of course with my frost blast I can keep the zombies frozen and not moving, because of course we want to make sure they don't hit the statues anymore. Let me just get that one. Now that we're getting to the last 10 seconds, of course one thing we need to keep in mind is that, man, there's always uncertainty in this game, and I will say at the same time that's actually what makes this game fun, because I feel like if everything's too predictable, it's like it's not as exciting as before, but I feel like in this case it is quite fun. Time to exfil Kowakujo with the Sokol 545 light machine gun, and let's see how we do against the Oni main boss. Now of course it does take a while for him to spawn in, but now we're going to use the rapid fire mode, and as we can see it actually does a decent amount of damage. However, it does take a while because of course we're just trying to shoot him at the head. And let me just switch to the other mode right now. Now that we have the precision mode, let's see how we do. And so far it's actually doing much more damage. I mean, it's like 6,000. Oh, it's actually 9,000 damage. Okay, that's pretty good. Now he's almost dead, but let me just move over here just so that I can kill the rest of the zombies in our path. And now he's actually dead. I'm not sure what killed him. Might have been the dogs or whatever it was. I don't know. It was pretty mysterious. However, now we can exfil and just wait here and I'll show you something special. This is the best class setup for the Sokol 545 light machine gun. For the Optic, we're going to use Lethal Tools Elo so that we can see the zombies and the bosses much easier. For the Muzzle, we're going to use the SWF Tashina 11 Suppressor so that we can get more salvage. For the barrel, we're going to use the 18.2 inch Parlous heavy barrel so that we can do higher headshot damage. For the magazine, we're going to use the Nevis-K bulk magazine so that we can have 180 rounds. For the rear grip, we're going to use the Rennen grip so we can get best sprint to fire speeds and jumping sprint to fire speeds. For the stock, we're going to use the Echidna aim stock so we can get higher aim walk and movement speeds. For the laser, we're going to use the 5MW Lockstep laser so that we can have better hip fire to ADS accuracy. For the fire mods, we're going to use a 5.45 FMJ so that we can do higher bullet penetration damage against zombies. This has been a full breakdown of the Sokol 545 light machine gun and Call of Duty Black Ops 7 Zombies. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next video.